Hi, good afternoon. I'm Sheila Maria and I am a psychic medium. It is wonderful to be with you. Before we get going with what does your higher self look like, I would love it if you would kindly subscribe and share me wherever you wish. You can also find out all of my services over at sheelagmaria.com. My journey started when I was a farmer's wife 17, 18 years ago, and my baby son was 2 days old. I literally heard a voice that I now know to be my guide Orion, who said, "Get him to hospital now." I got him to hospital, and although he had no symptoms, my son was 20 minutes away from death. My son is now 17. So from that point on, I have worked with my spirit guide Orion amongst many other light beings. And my belief is that when you become the best version of yourself, that is the best way that you can serve anyone else. And we are talking today about the topic of what your higher self looks like. I had an experience where I saw myself as my higher self, and I looked nothing like I look here. And this was going back about 20 years ago now. So I'd have been about 30 years old. So your higher self can take on any look they want to. They can appear as an animal. They can appear as a galaxy. They can be in what we call light body form. So your light body is literally the body that you have when you die. And some of you will have sensed your light body when you're meditating, if you get what I call elephant head syndrome, and your head feels much bigger than your physical head. And sometimes you will get fat finger syndrome, where you actually feel in meditation that your fingers are much, much bigger than they are. And anyway, my thighs are huge, so I'm not going to go into that one. So there are a whole range, thousands of ways that your higher self can appear. But the first thing I want to say, your higher self is still in the spirit world. The majority of you is not here. And so you're not cut off from your higher self, even though you have amnesia. And there are so many benefits to bringing more of your higher self into your physical self, because if you are walking around with a really high quota of light, then your life is going to begin to echo that high quota of light. It's a much faster way of manifesting if there is something that you wish to manifest. So we have tried to break down what your higher self will look like. Sometimes your higher self will appear to you as your spirit guide, because the human mind, sometimes it's normal for us to externalize things. So there will be times, if you're in meditation or you're trying to get connected to your higher self, there are times when the spirit guide that you see is actually you. But if you were to look in a mirror at yourself in the spirit world, there are several things that you may see. So the first thing that you would see is the light or the clothing that you're wearing in the spirit world is usually the colours of your higher self essence. And your higher self essence is a mixture of sound, emotion, vibration, electromagnetic impulses, and also the degrees of experiences that you have had. But there are some core colours that will be the very centre of what your higher self is about. So my core colours are silver, white and gold. I've also got a little bit of lilac as well. Those are my core higher self colours. So what we've got is we've got here a list of the colours and what they stand for. Usually, just like a guardian angel, just like an archangel, Archangel Michael, who usually is depicted in blue or purple with his sword. Usually, the clothing that other souls would see you as wearing would be the three main colours that make up your essence. So my colour, white, is purity. Silver is also an element of purity. It's one of the elemental colours. And lilac, which is, let me see, what's lilac? Let me have a look. And that's vulnerability. So then with those three colours, you also have something called your core soul essence. So your core soul essence, if you imagine a mandala and you imagine that there is, or a dartboard, the bullseye, it is the colour in the centre, which is your core soul essence. So mine is truth. So my core soul essence is gold, which is truth. And then I have white, silver and lilac. So we're going to start off by giving you the colours of your core soul essence, because that will be at the centre of your beingness when you're not in physical form. So if at the centre of your non-physical form you have gold, it is truth. Pink, it is unconditional love. Green is strength. White, very rare to get white as your core colour, is oneness. Purple is magic. Deep blue is loyalty. Bright orange is joy. Magenta or light red is compassion. Light green is mercy. Yellow is confidence. Dark orange or brown is courage. Light purple or mauve is vulnerability. So we then have a very, very deep purpley blue, indigo, and that is forgiveness. So those are the key colours that your higher self would have at the centre. But then you've also got the crystalline colours that make up, if you like, the persona that you are all about in this life. So those three colours of mine will change from life to life. So what you will also have is you will have an appearance, and this appearance is really depicting who you as your true self feel that you are out of time. So we can have higher selves that have a galactic appearance. So if somebody was drawing your higher self, you might look very galactic, humanoid or non-humanoid. You might appear as an animal. You might appear as a human, but from a time period that's really relevant to this life. You might appear in an elemental form. So when you appear in an elemental form, you could appear from anything as an elemental creature, okay, like a Sasquatch, through to an elemental elven or fey being, or even just an elemental consciousness that doesn't have any particular features. You may decide to appear as an angelic appearance. You might be most comfortable with that. And the final thing that will depict how your higher self appears to other souls is the movement that you make. Now, I'm trying to describe something which is really beyond language. Some higher selves seem to fly. Some higher selves walk, even though, of course, you travel instantaneously through focus. But if other souls were watching you in the spirit world, you might fly, you might walk, you might run, you might flow like a river. I know for me, I expand. I'm like a flower. I open. There's like a flourishing. I'm a drag queen of a higher self. I reckon I'd look like a drag queen. I wouldn't mind that. They're gorgeous. So it's the movement that you make that is also how you are seen. And the final part are the colours in the causal or the etheric template in your aura, which show where you are in advancement of your soul growth. And that is something I'm going to cover at another time. So some people have pastel colours, some people have darker colours, some people have brighter colours, and it's actually to do with your evolution across the infinite time and space. That is how other people in the spirit world recognise where you are development wise. So we hope that you found this interesting. If you want to find out more about your higher self, please come and check out my website, www.sheelaghmaria.com/work with me. Blessings.